All right, hey everybody, Josiah with Easy K afternoon review with you guys today. Um, wasn't a whole lot going on in the markets because of kind of a sideways continuation pattern we've got going on here on the SPY and the Qs. SPY, you can see of course, we had that breakout day 2 days ago. High churn inside day yesterday, and then today we have another inside day that is not on high churn, just kind of hanging out, waiting to see what's going to happen. So we're just sideways today, and same in the Qs, I think. Um, yeah, mostly sideways pretty much all day long. So the couple of big movers today were Microsoft and Facebook, gapped up on earnings. We had those high churn bars the day before, of course, and that typically happens. A lot of times they don't set up very beautifully. These are not what I would consider that great of setups. There were a couple though, and let me just mention those real quick on the daily review. So CMCSA did this nice little controlled pullback, did two relative volume signals at the base of this range or the base of this pullback, and then earnings gapped up, triggering all that and getting to first target in the first day. So that was a nice little setup there. And let's see, what was the other one? I think it was PayPal. Had kind of a similar look. Yeah, so we had this pullback, two kind of high churn bars at the base of the pullback. We triggered yesterday, and then today first target. So that's what I would consider a nice looking relative volume signal leading into earnings, where you don't have as much risk, and you can essentially just pick up some shares cheaply as long as you think the stock is good to go, and if you're willing to take the risk of holding over earnings, then those can often work out. So that's PayPal and um, I just blanked out on the other one. I think it was CMCSA, wasn't it? Yeah, CMCSA had triggered. So those two were nice little setups. J and J, it had a volume burst yesterday at the high of this range, and we had this wide range bar. We gapped down, and we're trying to work our way back up to trigger that as a continuation above the range. But we are at this resistance, so it's going to really have to show some strength. Twitter kind of having, so it gapped up after this controlled pullback. So Twitter did kind of have a similar pullback pattern where we were working our way up, pulled back, put in high churn at the low of this range, and then gapped up. So this is telling you that people are buying or absorbing whatever supply is happening before earnings happens. And then earnings is released, we get a gap up and multiple targets there in the first day. PFE. So this one, it just had a couple of nice little pullback trades intraday. And I had noticed this one. So the pullback trades, I really like to see where they have a prior volume level, like this one did at 39 at the 39.50 level. So we had tested yesterday, and then it was tested from beneath here, broke through, put in volume at the top. Then we pulled all the way back down to that 39.50 again, put in a volume signal right there at that same level, and then took off for the rest of the late morning and afternoon. And so topped out right around 130. We had another opportunity to get long here, and a lesser opportunity right here where there was just a little bit of churn volume there, and then another good one right there just before we topped out here. So several good signals on P. Square, let's see what we got on Square. I was actually looking at this on an opening range breakout trade, and kind of frustrated me this morning. So I got a nice volume burst on the 20, on the 15. You can see that as well. Indecision candle. It's basically saying, okay, there's a lot of energy building up here, and you could see on the 5-minute, which is kind of where I was looking to trade it. We had these kind of inside indecision candles, of course, inside this 15 range, pulled back, put in this narrow range 5-minute bar with high churn. This is exactly the kind of picture I like to see. I would like to see strong volume on the first candle and then strong volume on a smaller inside candle just before it triggers. And so that's pretty close to the ideal. And so I was getting my orders ready to go, and I probably would have been skipped anyway because it did have some spread on it early in the morning. But my platform crashed just as I was trying to get into this thing, and so I missed out on this big 4 to 5 hour move up here to the highs, and then it sold off. And so I got on the phone with the brokerage and trying to fix things. But anyway, so I missed out on this one, unfortunately. I was ready to go, and my order got rejected, and my platform crashed. Luckily, no harm done, but just missed out on a good trade there. And that was about it for the day. It was just kind of a range bound situation the rest of the day. MYL, I think I saw some volume signals on this one. Yeah, so mostly we had some pullback trades here with these levels where you get one level put in, pull back to that same level, volume comes in, and you can take off again. There was a nice later in the afternoon around 1, nice little 15-minute down here, kind of at the same level as these earlier in the day. You can see it on the 20 as well. The 30 looks really nice on that red. If you take it over the red or take it over the body of either of these two candles, the hourly looked pretty good as well. IQ. Trying to remember what I saw on this one. Just so there's a volume burst down here at the very low, kind of stopping the pullback or the sell-off here. And on the daily, you can kind of see it just, we traded down to the very bottom of this range where prior volume had supported it. Coming down here, volume supported it again on this 15, as you can see, in the 10. And we took off very quickly from that level. ExxonMobil. I think this was an opening range trade. I like these red bottoming tail candles on high churn. It's a nice little setup, and you can take these, like I've said, a lot of times you can just, if there's good churn there and the location looks right, then you can sometimes just take these in either way they break. This one was a nice uptrend that broke out of this red candle, stopping some people out there and adding fuel to the fire. So that was good. Then it had a nice little 5-minute pullback there. Schwab, I think I had seen, similar kind of indecision, high churn opening range on the hourly, the 30-minute. 20 had an inside 20, and there was a 15 here. So this one, you can see here, it traded down, broke back above, came down, put in churn right at this prior churn level. And I like to see that retesting prior levels that had a volume signal. And so that was a good trade, probably best on the 15 or the 5 there, but as it triggered out, it would have taken some heat here, and then it eventually worked there. This is a really nice picture. Disney just kept giving, yesterday it was behaving really nicely, just back and forth all day long. You could see the signals really, really easily on the chart all day long. So that was really nice yesterday, and then it just kept giving more today. Bottomed out at volume here, topped out here, again, retesting a prior level with volume at where we had a prior volume signal, giving us another volume signal saying that buyer is still there. We take off and no looking back there. So that I always like to see those stocks that are behaving really nicely, giving those clear, hardly any way to mess those up. So Bank of America, opening range, high churn on the hourly, 30, 20 had several churn bars on the open here, the 15. I like, again, like I said, I like these opening candles that have a later candle to kind of confirm that and to help you time the entry a little bit better. But so this whole picture is saying, okay, there's interest at this level. Somebody is buying it here, or on the reverse, this can also mean that somebody's selling in the reverse situation. But you can see here on the hourly, yesterday there was somebody supporting it at this level too, and then today we get retested that same level on the hourly. Get a nice setup on the 15, the 10, not so much on the 5, and just as soon as that triggered, it worked for the rest of the day. Morgan Stanley, probably a similar picture. Yeah, so we had high churn. This is actually a better picture. I like these on a break over the open, or you could take them on a break over the high. But I especially like it when they have inside candles where you can get a better risk to reward. And so you can see this pulled back, but it was putting in a lot of churn volume, saying, we're putting in a lot of effort, not getting very far. And so when that eventually showed its hand for too long, it reversed and ran all those stops and took off. And so there were several opportunities on different time frames to get into that one. And let's see, so on this one, this was just I wanted to mention this one because of the day trade situation. So, or excuse me, the swing trade. So we had nice volume signal up here at the high, volume down here at the low, and we triggered that, and we're kind of retesting that same level. So tomorrow, hopefully, this volume signal here will play out, and we'll see some more support there at that level tomorrow. If not, this can, this has ways to come back down before we can get some more support at these levels here. I think I did want to mention also this was a high churn opening range, and you can see the 20 and inside 20 here, and we were pushing down, found some support, came back up, and you can see here we topped out kind of in a trend trading kind of situation here against this moving average. We're trying to go up, failing, putting in churn, it's all coming to a head there with this high churn volume on these tiny 15-minute candles, and then we break it and trade down the rest of the day. So I like to see those where it's kind of like the energy is becoming pent up. There's a lot of orders being set, and then it eventually breaks, and usually those can lead to very good moves. PayPal, I think I mentioned this just on the swing trading side. I don't think there was much in the way of day trades today on PayPal. LVS. Yeah, I think I was mentioning this on the swing trade. We had a signal yesterday at the low of this pullback. It's not exactly what I like to see, but it's fairly nice. And I think we did trigger it today. Yeah, we triggered over the high of that today. So if we can get some support on this pullback here in the morning, then that should be good to go. Walmart. We had a churn bar yesterday. Kind of broke out of this sideways thing we're having here. And today we had this high churn open. Kind of going through the time frames here. So it wasn't anything really spectacular on the smaller time frames, just that high churn open. And that is a clean bar there. So if you had taken this on the hourly, it looks like it would have worked. The lower time frames, it doesn't look like anything really worked very well because it was getting, the range was just kind of whipping around all morning. But that hourly looks like it ended up being pretty good. So anyway, that's what I got for today. I will be trying to do these videos more often, do like a daily review and then maybe a weekly review at the end of each week, to kind of go over swing trading setups for the day and the weekly time frame, and then my intraday setups that I have worked on earlier in the day. And hopefully that kind of review will show you some new information on how to trade these type of volume signals, the opening range breakouts, and that type of thing. So we will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.